Hello everyone, it's Jennifer and thank you for joining me today. I have 4 projects lined up for this video. 2 of them are going to be really quick. I already have done up half of them. We're going to make a couple pairs of earrings. Then we're going to go ahead and make up a necklace and a bracelet. And we are going to be using beads from the Double Firepolish Beads of the Month Club for October. I know we're in November, but sometimes they kind of bleed into the following month. And the way this month has been going, yes, we're bleeding into the next month. And I thought that I would get a couple extra videos made up using this Beads of the Month Club box. Then we're also going to be diving into some of the Bright Silver Findings Companion Pack. We're going to jump into some of those, as well as some of the crystals from the Crystals Companion Pack. Now, what is Beads of the Month Club? It is a monthly subscription. And the one that I have here is a double fire polish. I will add a link in the description for the full unboxing so you can see everything in its entirety and up close. I'll also put a link in the description for a bracelet. I made a bracelet using some of the beads earlier this month or in October. And so I will go ahead and do that as well. All right, now let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to be using. I had a request from one of the viewers to use these rosebud beads. So we're going to be using a few of the rosebud beads. We're also going to be using some of the 5x7 fire polish. And I am adding in some bead caps, a crystal rondelle spacer, and some wire and ear wires because I want this in gold. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make up these little components down here. And we're going to do that by threading on one of our little rosebud. They're so pretty. We're going to do that. Oh, I didn't point out the tools that we're going to use. We're going to be using chain nose pliers. I'm going to use some bent chain nose pliers, some round nose pliers, and some flush cutters. I might dive into a few more items. I think I'm going to be using some crimping pliers and some other items as we get into the other projects. But for these two, though, that's what we're going to use. So let's go ahead and we're going to make ourselves a wire wrapped loop at the top. And since these are glass, you want to allow yourself some room so that when you're doing your wrapping, you don't wrap on top of your bead and break your bead. Yes, I've done that. So the first thing you're going to do is give it a 90-degree angle bend. That's not completely a 90-degree angle bend, but it's there. All right, we're going to go ahead and insert this into our round nose pliers. And I just try to get that bottom barrel as close as I can to that where the bend is. Then I'm going to take my finger and just form that over the top barrel. These are very strong head pins, and so just make sure you form. Don't pull from the end. And then I need this to be pointing out the back. So I'm going to go ahead now and just rotate a little bit so that so it's a little bit more centered, and it's still not really that centered. There we go. Now we're centered. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take the tip of my chain nose pliers. I just bend it slightly just to give it a little bit of start, lock it into place. I can rearrange my chain nose pliers a little bit. You can definitely use your fingers here. I don't, because my fingers aren't as strong. And then I also feel like I get a better wrap when I'm doing this, because I go about half around and I let go, because you can snap your wire too. And then I finish off in the back. The front of my component is always going to be where I'm starting my wraps. Now, in this example, we're going, in our earrings, we're going to be on the side, but that's okay because I tuck this enough to the back that I can hide the end as well. So go ahead and give it a little bit of a trim. Cover that up. I'm going to go ahead and put my bent chain nose pliers here because it has a nice bend and it's just easy to to get to this here without, I mean, you could hold it with your fingers, but I just feel like it's more stable doing this. All right, so let's go ahead and make those other two up. So I'm going to go ahead and thread on because I'm sure I left out a step somewhere. So we're going to go ahead and just thread this on our head pin. You can use balled head pins if you want. These are the ones that I had, so these were the ones I grabbed. Now, since this is, I mean, it feels like it's 22 gauge by size, but yet it acts like it's 20 gauge. So I'm not going to go with the tippy tip, but I'm going to come a little bit down from the tip of my chain nose pliers. And here's why. That is that bend and your neck. That's where you're going to be doing your wrapping. So you need a little bit of room. Plus, we don't want to force it in there. And I want 3 reps. So I'm going to go ahead and come in about the same place, form over. Then I'm just going to rotate my wrist halfway or just by a quarter. But this needs to go out this way. But I had to get that bottom barrel out of the way. So then I just push it to the back. And then all I do is just bring that to the center. And there we have our nice little center. And I always just kind of lock it in place. Probably something from Kelly Sutton at Kelly's Bead Boutique. Because I always, well, she's the one that taught me how to do this. I'm sure she's taught many of you guys too. Because I'm sure my viewers are already viewers of hers. Let's go ahead and give that a little bit of a trim. And let's go ahead and come in. And then we want to just be very careful, but we want that tucked in. Okay, so we have that one. We have one more to go. I wanted to be able to put this entire earring together. So that's why we're doing this 3 times. Okay. And we're going to come in just a little bit off the tippy tip. Give it that 90-degree angle bend. We're going to use our round nose pliers. Form over the top. Hold on to that. Just rotate your wrist a little bit. Push to the back. And then we'll get that all nice and centered up. Let's go ahead and add our chain nose pliers, lock that in place, grab our secondary pair or our second pair, and we'll start our wrapping. All right, there we go. And then go ahead and give it a little bit of a trim. We're going to hold on to this here. And then we're going to tuck in that little end that pokes out. We don't want it to poke out. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and assemble our little cluster down here. And I just grabbed a very small, this is a really small, like a 3mm tiara cast jump ring. And I'm just going to add 1 of them. Speaking of tiara cast, because I know Adornable Elements uses them in their companion packs too. But I just added a bunch of stuff in my Etsy shop, so you'll have to go check it out. Tons of tiara cast stuff. And I have so many more. I think I added 11 postings yesterday and then added colors to different finishes to I think 3 or 4 different different tiara cast stuff. So I'm still going through. I'm looking at my container. I have huge container full still. So now we're going to go ahead and add our little guy here. And actually I'm going to turn it around because I want this to be the front. Okay. And the front is where you're starting. Then I'm going to look at my component, and I can see that the little tail ends here. So when I put this on, I want the tail to be facing to the back. So there we go there. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. I have the tail facing to the back. And then I'm going to go ahead and just close that up. And it locks into place. These are Softflex jump rings, and I absolutely love them. All right, so now we're going to make this little center component. And we're going to go ahead and bring in this is 20 gauge wire. I'm gonna just give it a little bit of a flush cut. And since I'm I'm working from the spool, basically, I have this long piece. So I'm gonna go ahead and add everything onto my wire now. I'm gonna add one of those 5x7s. Then I have some bead caps from my stash, and I really like the stacking of the bead caps. So I have this kind of like little flower one. I have no idea where I got it. And then I have these little guys too. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then we're gonna add the crystal rondelle spacer. Then we're gonna go ahead and add this bead cap. And then we're gonna add this bead cap. And then we're gonna add this last thing. And then this is gonna be the bottom. Okay, and since I'm just working from a long piece, I don't wanna cut my piece and have some waste. So now I'm gonna go ahead and come in about so, and just rotate my wrist until it hits the other end. And then I'm gonna come in with the tip of my chain nose pliers and just go ahead and get that all nice and centered. Then before I do my wire wrapping, I wanna go ahead and add this to my component because it's just easier to do it now than later. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that on there. It's probably not gonna go on until I take this little part off. Yep, all right. There we go. Let's go ahead and get that all nice and snug. And now I can do a nice good wire wrap and not have to worry about opening my jump ring again or opening up that down there with the bead nice and snug in there. So now that I have this, I want to have my loop is going this way and this is the front, but I need this loop to go this way. So I'm just gonna flip it over to its side here, just turn it. And again, this is 20 gauge, so I don't want it to be at the tippy tip like I do for 22 gauge. I'm gonna go ahead and get that 90-degree angle bend. I'm gonna come in about the same place that I normally do. Then I'm gonna go ahead and form that over, hold on to that, rotate, push to the back, get that nice and centered. There we go. Then if I don't have to open up a component like my ear wire here, I don't want to. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pop it on now. And then I have plenty of room to go ahead and put the tip of my chain nose pliers there. This is a nice long spot or a nice long wire. Also, I don't want to ruin the wire by using my chain nose pliers. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just wrap it around. And I don't want to warm my wire because I don't want it to become brittle. So I'm still going very, very careful around. Also too, I don't want to have it all bent up. So there I have a nice good piece of wire. So now I could hold it, but I'm just going to go ahead and add my bent chain nose pliers in there and get that, just because it's just all delicate, right? So let's go ahead and get these. Okay, I feel like I got it, but then I don't. There. All right, so here we have our first pair of earrings. And I love this look here. And so when I put this together, I thought, well, I'm gonna make a second pair just like that without the little dangles. So I'm gonna show you two different versions. One that I'm doing for Lori that had the rosebuds, and then I'm gonna do another one without, just a beautiful little dainty earring. And I love this style. So I'm gonna use one of those headpins, and I'm gonna go ahead and add one of those rondelles, one of those 5x7s. Then I'm gonna go ahead and stack my bead caps again. There's the bigger one that's more flat. This one's a little domed. And then we're gonna add our crystal rondelle spacer. Then we're gonna go ahead and add that bead cap sitting up. And you almost don't see that second bead cap, but you kind of do. And I know it's there. And it does add a little bit of, height. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to come in about so. Again, it feels like it's a 22 gauge, but it kind of acts like a 20 gauge. So let's go ahead and get this in here and form over the top. I'm going to rotate. I'm going to push to the back, and then I'm going to go ahead and get that all nice and centered. Okay, and before I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and pop on my ear wire. Again, they do open up, but if I don't have to open it, I'm not going to. I don't want to. Just like with jump rings, if I don't have to open up a jump ring, I'm not going to open it up. Okay, so go ahead and get that in there, lock that in place, and then go 1, 2. We'll go a third time around. Get that all nice and in there. Okay, that looks beautiful. Give it a little bit of a trim. And again, I could hold on to that ear wire. I don't want to. I just want to have that stable handle on it. And go ahead and get that trimmed up. And so here we have a couple, here's another pair of earrings. Very similar. These are just the same, except these have the little, like the little roses on the bottom. Pretty, huh? I really love it. I really like them. I dig these. That's my style. All right. So now, and my waist that I have here is just from the head pins. And could I save it? Yes, I could. Will I? No. All right. So those are gone. Now, I really want to use these beads, but I don't, because like these here, again, this is from the companion pack. Those are just gorgeous, gorgeous. And I don't want to use them yet. So I'm going to go ahead and use these other bicones that were in that companion pack. And we're going to use this pendant bead too. Isn't that beautiful? So we're going to, oops, uh-oh. Oh, it went over here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to make a little something. And then these are just going to get, these are just going to go around. And I have them spaced out because it'd be kind of cute to do a little bit of knotting and make it like a floating. Oh my goodness, I have just enough. Okay. Now, something that I thought of was I just did another project for another channel, and I can't wait for you guys to see what it is. All right, but I did a necklace and I made this component, and so after I made the necklace, I took it apart, mainly because when I went back and watched the video, I was so off camera, and it's the first time that I'm providing a video for this particular channel. So I redid it again. And I used, for this here, I used some 18 gauge craft wire from Softflex, and I really dig it. And I was thinking, well, maybe I can do something again with this. And so I was just kind of playing around and thinking that I could use something for this. I am going to use some 22 gauge. I'm gonna use 22 gauge. How's that? Because I think I want to add a couple. I'm cutting way too much wire, but that's okay. So I cut probably like, this is probably, because this is probably 7 inches or so of wire. And I'm just thinking that, okay. All right, so let's go ahead and we are going to wire wrap this. And what I want to do is I want to have it be doubled up, I guess. I think we're going to just double it up. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and crisscross these here. And I didn't know how I was going to do this, obviously, because I'm kind of struggling here. I want to have a little bit of movement. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this one up. And, or do I want to, just trying to think here, just trying to think. I think I am going to actually maybe add one of these beads. I think I'm going to go ahead and just add one of those beads. All right. So now I have this. I'm going to kind of take this and just turn it a little bit just to give it a little bit of help. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to put the tip of my chain nose pliers over that, and then I'm just going to go ahead and wrap 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And oh, it's actually only going to be twice because this is going to be the front. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that. Waste. That's okay. I can use that for something else. All right. So now, and then after I get it all nice and tucked in, because I feel like it's a little off center, and it kind of is. So let's just get it a little bit better. Okay. All right. So, let's get it a little bit better because it will bug me. All right. Then after I put this little bead on, then I will tuck in that bottom. And yes, I could very easily grab one of those rondelles from the companion pack, but I'm not going to because I want to save those forever and ever. Okay, so this is the front here. All right. So now let's go ahead and come in, and we have 22 gauge. So we're at the tippy tip. Okay. And I actually need my bend to go in the other direction. So, oh my goodness. I don't know if I could do this. It's probably not good too, but all right. So there we go. So I have that. So let's go ahead and put a bend on there. Oh, and the front's not going to be in the front. Ugh. That's going to bug me. I will go back and change it after we're all done here. Okay, so now let's go ahead and give it the 3 turns, just like so. Oh, okay, well, that's all right. I'm cool with that. You're probably going, what in the world is she talking about? Well, because I have certain ways I like to do stuff. Okay, so where's the... Okay, there it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and come in and just tuck that in a little bit. Okay, and then tuck that in too. All right, so now I have this guy, and I can put him on here. All right, if you want to see how I did that, well, you can find where it's going to be at on another channel, but we'll just see. All right, so now let's go ahead and maybe I'm going to be doing some wire wrapping because I feel like I don't want to. Let's go ahead and do some wire wrapping because I feel like I don't want like beading wire or anything down there. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do some wrapping. I guess I didn't need to do that. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and wrap it. I want it to be in the same place every time. So I'm going to go ahead and go halfway in between this notch that I have here and the tip. Okay, let's go ahead and get that pushed to the back. Let's go ahead and get this attached to here. Let's just open it up a little bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to finish off this side here, because then I'm going to also bring in some, chain for the end. Okay, and so when I'm all done with that, I will come back and we will finish this off, because I don't want you guys to have to sit here and watch me wire wrap all day. All right, and so all I'm going to do is just trim that off, just like so, and tuck that in, which I want to wait until I get these guys on there. For me, it's just easier for me to, because if I push too hard, then I end up, this is the front. I end up squishing it down into the wire, and it's just a mess. So I just rather not. Okay, so let's go ahead and come in here. And I'm gonna go halfway in between those two and do that. And then go ahead and get that all nice and evened up. All right, then we will go ahead and get these all wrapped up. I'll get the ends trimmed and I'll get them tucked in. So I guess I didn't end up with too much waste, huh? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get that all nice and trimmed off. And we'll come in and we need to get that tucked in, just like so. And then we need to get this one tucked in back here. Yes, back here, just like so. Okay, so now we have our, and I'll always know because there. All right, and then just make sure you're all, because you are using 22 gauge, and so it could be a little hard. And so then what I'll do is that next wrap is going to go this way, and then so it'll look just like this, where we have opposites. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I will come back and I will get everything all done, and then, oh, I'll maybe leave a couple for the end, and then I'll come in, and then we are going to use these little guys with these little guys, and we are going to also probably throw in some silver somewhere too. So we will be doing that as well. So when we come back, we'll have another project, maybe. I don't know. We'll see how long this one takes, because I feel like I've been taking forever, but it's okay. All right, so let me come back, and when we're almost done, and we'll finish this necklace off. I'm absolutely loving it. All right, we'll see you in a few. Okay, we're back, and I have been able to get all of this put together. I really love it. It would have been nice to have maybe a pop of color in between, but my main focal is right here. So this is just bonus to the necklace that we have these gorgeous, gorgeous crystals. All right, so what do we have here? Oh, so at the very end, I wire wrap directly onto my chain. This chain is from John Bead. It is like an assortment pack. It has a bunch of different colors and a couple of different sizes. So, and again, with wire wrapping and not having the like a jump ring in between, it does get a little wonky, but it's just easily fixed. And if it's just sitting on your neck, you're okay. All right, so here's my waist so far. Not too bad, not too bad. I'm probably gonna have only a little bit left over for here, so I'll have a little bit of waist there too. All right, so now I need to make sure that I get this all done up. And where's the front? Here's the front. Okay, front is where the wire wrap starts. And so I still have these two guys to put on. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this last one with you. We did the first one together. And so now let's go ahead and do the last one together, where we're gonna be connecting it to the chain, which I love doing. I love connecting it directly to the chain. I love connecting it directly to the beads too, or the, you know, the different components. All right, so I find the front of my component, which is where my wrap starts, and I go ahead and I insert the tail through that wrap. Then I know that when I am wrapping, I need to finish in the back, which is back here. So you can, since this is 22 gauge, you can kind of get away with using your fingers. I guess I should be on camera. So sorry. So I'm going to use my fingers a little bit because sometimes I get a little rough with the second pair, and with the 22 gauge, I can bend it up quite a bit. Then I'm not going to cut it yet. I'll show you what I'm going to do. So now we're going to go ahead and add our last 2 beads here. And I find the front of the bead below it because we're doing opposite loops. There we go. So this is going to be the front. I'm going to be at the tippy tip. I don't want a lot of slack. I don't want any slack in between. I want it to fit nice and snug, but I also don't want to break my beads. And here I'm at the very last one, and I don't want to break my bead. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. And before we go to close it up, we are going to go ahead and attach it to our chain. Okay, so now we have our chain all ready to go. And I already put a jump ring on the end. I do not like using open jump rings on the end. However, those soft flex jump rings that I have are incredible. So if I don't have to use an extra jump ring, I would rather do that. And these soft flex jump rings, you can't even tell where the slit is, barely, and they never come apart. So I will use those when I don't want to add a bunch of extra jump rings. And not one has ever failed me. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hold that and get that tucked in a little bit. Okay, get that tucked in. There we go. Then I need to cut this side. Let's grab our cutters. I'm going to grab that side, trim that off. And I'm going to go ahead and add my thin chain of pliers there so that I can see a little bit too. And there we go. Here's my waist. Not much waist. Not much at all for this whole entire necklace. And there we have it. And so I have a little bit of chain. This is a shorter necklace. I wanted this to sit, and again, a wise woman once said, always put jump rings in between. And so, oh, this is the front over here. There we go. There's the front. And I know that because I made it right-handed for me. And then I just add my, there we go. Aren't those pretty? It would have been really pretty to have another pop of color in there, but then yet, I don't know, I just feel like it's very simple and very dainty by just having that, because our pop of color, I want our pop of color to be this red crystal down here, and that's what we have. Okay, so that is the third project in the books, right? Now, let's go ahead and make up this project. And I was thinking I was going to use this guy here. However, I feel like I want to use them. Oh, maybe we'll do that. Let's do that. Because I want to bring in some of the silver. We have bright silver. All right. Oh, one of the funnest things is, oh, where is it? The ear cuffs. Look at that. Those are gonna be so much fun. Oh, I can't wait. All right, so we have a bunch of bright silver in there. So I am going to make, this into a necklace. And you will see that too when I do all my pictures. But I'm just gonna go ahead and I am going to grab some beading wire, some crimp tubes, and I will be right back. For this project, we don't need as many tools because we are only going to be using some crimping pliers and some wire and some flush cutters or cutters. And we are just going to string it up. I'm going to use one of these twisty, it's like a screw on, let me see exactly what it's called. It is a, let's see here. It is a ball screw clasp. And I'm going to use it. And here's why. My friend that I'm giving this to, I don't want it to come off of her. I don't want to use a magnetic clasp, and I don't want to use anything that can break. And this is just amazing. And her husband can just put this on for her. All right. I'm going to work from the spool. I'm going to use my favorite. I'm going to use my Sterling Silver Extreme Flex, Soft Flex. I love it, love it, love it. And then I'm going to use, obviously, my favorite crimp tubes. These are also from Soft Flex, and these are amazing. They have a thicker wall, seamless, you name it, they got it. I am not going to use the magical crimper on this one, though, I think. Oh, and you know what? I think I dropped an extra earring thing there. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and use these 6mm fire polish that are just absolutely stunning. Not sure how many we're going to use. Then we are just going to be super simple, very, very super simple. And just because I don't want to hide the beads with any sort of, covers or anything, I am just going to make a very simple bracelet. And I'm just going to go every other one. I thought of doing like 2. Let's do 2 and see. Let's do 2, then 1. The only thing is with sizing when you get to the end. Let's go here. I like the 2. So let's do 2 and then 1. And this is what we do. We just do 2 and then we'll do 1. And then she has a small wrist, so I'm not going to make this very large initially. Okay. Oh yeah, I love that. Nice and simple and just but beautiful. And with this on there, oh my goodness, gorgeousness. All right, so let's go ahead and just continue on. I was going to use those other beads, but then as I was looking at them, I thought, oh no, I want them for something else. Okay, so my friend that I'm going to be leaving this off, we do little porch drop-offs. Her bag is huge. That's sitting over here waiting for me to take it to her. Her birthday was October 14th. I was going to take her bag, but then need the granddaughter to go with us, right? Because she loves Robin. And oh my goodness, we just haven't gotten over there. And we've had very busy weekends and weekdays, even when we've had her with us, because we'll get her during the week. Okay, so I'm just going along. I am loving this. This is just going to be very simple. This is just another add-on little project that I was not planning on. So I need to get that bag over to Robin. Well, guess what? If I can get this recorded, get it photographed, get it wrapped up, I can give it to her. That's usually what I do. Okay, so let me think here. This is probably going to be about 1 inch, right? And oh boy, let's find my little, there it is. It's ridiculous. I won't even put it on camera, but my little measuring tool. So I have this at 5.5 right now, and that is absolutely perfect. So 5.5 right now. This is probably going to add another inch. And all I did was 1 of the 4mm, 2 of the 6, 1 of the 4, 2 of the 6. And look, I still have so many left. I'm going to make a cute pair of earrings with those to match. I will. I'm going to make a cute pair of earrings to match. And you can do it the opposite way where you can have a bunch of these 4mm with these in between. All right. So again, I still just have it connected. So that's why you haven't heard me say how much wire I was pulling off, because I don't do that. I work from the spool. And then I am going to connect this directly to the link there, because I don't want anything open that can get broken, because she's very active. And yeah, so if this gets broke off, oh no, because it's not going to flow very well. Oh my goodness. All right, well then we're going to have to use a very thick, jump ring on hers then. All right, so now let's go ahead, let's bring this together a little bit, just a little bit. And then let's go ahead and give it that squeeze. I have my wires separated. You can't see because I'm off camera 90% of the time. So this is what happens. Okay, do you want to hear why I go off camera? Yes, it is because then it goes, I have it closer to my face. Yes, you're absolutely 100% right. But also too, I'm a percher in my chair. I don't sit back in my chair. So as I perch, I'm scooching my chair back as I'm readjusting, and then I eventually end up being way off camera. All right, so here we go. We have our wires separated. We're gonna give it a squeeze, and you can see the top, the bottom with that little crescent moon taco. We're gonna flip it on its side and then go into the front notch where it just rounds it off. And there we go. And I always give it the tug test. I never go ahead and scrunch down more on it. Someone said that wasn't good. And then I'm thinking my mentor does scrunch on it, and I always did scrunch on it. And then I saw someone say, no, you can rip into the wire. So I stopped doing it. All right, so I'm gonna see if I can just pass this through, and here's why. I'm not gonna be able to pass it through, but I'm gonna show you why I do that. My reason why is because when you cut off one side, then it's lopsided, because only one side of that crimp tube, again, let's get on camera, Jen. One side of the crimp tube has the wire coming out and this side won't. Well, I like to pass it back through, not for safety, and my mentor doesn't do this, but I do it so that it sits so that the bead will sit evenly. I do have to get over it. I will one day. I just don't know when. But I don't know, I just feel, and then I feel like that little piece just kind of sticks there. So let's see if I can get it a little closer. So for me, it's all cosmetic. That's the only reason why. So then when I look at it, and again, I know what she'll say. If someone notices, then if someone is standing close enough to you to notice, they're standing too close. And so there that goes. And so, I mean, I guess that's okay. I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know. I shouldn't ask the scary question if I don't want the scary answer. I don't know if I want you guys to go, no, you're crazy. You don't put your wire back through the first bead. For me too, it's not even just the centering. It's then on this side, I feel like I have more room if I could pass it through again. I don't know. Somewhere along the line, I've talked myself into that. And I don't know. All right. Also, it's getting late and I'm probably starting to get really loopy because I wasn't planning on the multiple projects. I was just going to do one pair of earrings and then maybe a necklace or something, but then everything just kind of came into place. All right. So now I have this and you're like, oh, there's movement. Yeah, there is. But when I round it off, it'll be fine. So there's not that much extra. And I go ahead and put my, I'll give it a little bit more. Let's pull in a little bit, because see how there's a little bit there? Yeah, I do want to pull. That's a little too much slack for me. Did I get it? Yeah. All right, there we go. Okay, because then I'm gonna go up against, I don't want to go on top of that bead. So I'm gonna pull it up just a little bit and then crimp down and then go into the front notch, turn it on its side and go. And there we go. And then I come in and get as close as I can there without cutting the other side. Then when you look at this, there's not that much waste. So if I were to pre-cut my beading wire, I would probably end up with 4 or 5 inches extra. Just saying. I need to go get some strong jump rings. I'll be right back. Okay, so I don't want huge ones, but I'm using some 4mm 18 gauge, and this is from Kelly. And I love her jump rings. Her jump rings are so good, and they're so strong. And I don't know, I just love them. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get this put together here. Oh, and then I'm gonna have to wait till tomorrow to take a picture because it's dark outside. And here I said I wasn't gonna need any other tools, and here we go. Okay, so go ahead and add that on there. I had to sneeze, but I cut it out of the video so you didn't have to hear me. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and flip that over because these are tough. And I know she says 18 gauge, but man, they are tough 18 gauge. Very tough 18 gauge. They're pretty hard. They are pretty tough. I mean, look at that. I don't even have it anywhere near. So I'm gonna flip this over a little bit, get a different grip. There we go. There we go. And then get that in there, do the fingernail test. It's not going anywhere. And then that thing is not gonna come off. All right, here we go. Open. And then we'll get this off to the side here. And I wanna make sure it's not gonna be all twisty. I mean, I guess eventually it'll be a little twisty, but all right. Let's get this closed. I mean, can you see that? These are tough. I love it, especially for her. Okay. Tug tap, fingernail test. Oh, kind of have a little bit of, there we go. I don't have my magnifying glass to look, but yeah, so this is a little tiny bracelet. My little thing fell over, but yeah, so it is about 6, it's a large 6 1/4, a very small 6 1/2. And that is perfect for her. She is going to love it. All right, so let me bring it up a little bit here. And let's bring in our other projects. I am gonna make a necklace with that, so I have that out. It'll be super simple, so you don't have to see it. All right, so we have our necklace that we did. We did some wire wrapping. I love to wire wrap. And we made a couple pairs of earrings. A couple different ways of doing these. And there we go. So give this video a huge thumbs up if you like it. I forgot to mention, I have a coupon code. Adornable Elements has given me a coupon code to share with my viewers, and I'm so excited. So if you use Bella10, I'm going to put it up on the screen. On your first subscription, you'll get 10% off. Don't forget to add in your Findings Companions packs and your Crystal's Companion Pack. These are both add-ons for the Beads of the Month Club. I really strongly suggest it. I mean, just like with these earring cuffs, I would have never bought them, and I can't wait to use them. And then also too, with the crystals, look at these gorgeous crystals I got, and these bicones. Oh my goodness, they are just absolutely stunners. And then also too, where are they at? The other little tiny ones that I don't ever want to use, but I know I'm going to have to. These here. Oh my goodness. And again, these are add-ons to your subscription, but look at that sparkle. Gorgeous. All right, I am going to also put in the last month's, however months worth I have of unboxings. I will go ahead and leave that in the description below so you have an easy way to get to all of the videos that I have using Beads of the Month Club. Please be sure to give this video a huge thumbs up, comment. I love to see what everybody has to say, and subscribe. And until next time, have a good one.